the work so that I step in as whole as I can, so I can see things and I can enjoy moments.
For a while, things improved. Joanna was able to return to her work, balance the responsibilities of being a mother, and continue growing the Magnolia empire with Chip. But deep down, she knew the injury had left a permanent mark on her body. Over time, the pain started to creep back, subtle at first, then stronger and more persistent. What had once been a manageable discomfort became a daily battle, and even the simplest tasks, standing for long periods, bending over, or lifting her children, became increasingly difficult. Despite the growing discomfort, Joanna kept smiling in front of the cameras. She continued designing homes, filming shows, and appearing in magazines. But behind the scenes, she was silently suffering. As a mother of 5 and the face of a multi-million-dollar brand, there was little time to stop and truly rest. Still, Joanna understood that ignoring her body wasn't sustainable, and in late 2022, she made the difficult decision to undergo a second microdiscectomy surgery. This second procedure was emotionally and physically taxing. Joanna had hoped that the first surgery would be the end of her spine troubles, but now she was facing the reality that this was a long-term condition, one that may never fully go away. Recovery was slow and painful. She had to spend weeks away from strenuous activity and filming, relying on Chip and their children for support. Chip, ever the loyal partner, stepped up in every way. In interviews, he shared that watching Joanna in pain was heartbreaking. He admired her strength but admitted it was hard not being able to take the pain away. As someone known for his humor and hands-on energy, it was a sobering experience for Chip to sit by Joanna's side as she healed, feeling helpless yet hopeful. Their children also noticed the shift at home. Drake, their eldest, took on more responsibility, helping out with his younger siblings and supporting his parents. Even the youngest, little Crew, sensed something was different. But through it all, the family came together with even greater unity and love. Joanna used this time of recovery not only to heal physically, but also to reflect deeply on her life. She wrote in her journal, meditated, and took time away from the noise of fame. For perhaps the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to truly rest. She also opened up to her fans, sharing pieces of her journey in blog posts and interviews, hoping that her vulnerability might help others facing their own hidden battles. Mental health became just as important as physical health. Joanna began focusing on emotional wellness, acknowledging that living with chronic pain takes a toll on the mind. She embraced therapy, intentional mindfulness, and simple joys like gardening, painting, and quiet walks. These small rituals helped ground her and gave her peace. Now, as she continues to recover and rebuild, Joanna is more committed than ever to living a slower, more intentional life. She and Chip have taken a step back from constant filming to focus on what truly matters: family, faith, and health. They still work on Magnolia projects, but they do so with more boundaries and balance. For fans who followed their journey from the very beginning, Joanna's story is a powerful reminder that even the most seemingly perfect lives have hidden struggles. Behind the beautifully designed homes and polished magazine covers is a woman who has endured real pain and risen from it with grace, resilience, and honesty. So, what does the future hold for Joanna Gaines? She continues to heal, grow, and inspire. Whether it's a new design project or a heartfelt moment shared with her children, Joanna is living proof that strength isn't just about pushing through. It's also about knowing when to pause, rest, and begin again. What are your thoughts on Joanna's health journey? Do you admire the way the Gaines family has faced these challenges? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click on the next video showing on your screen. You'll be inspired by what you see. Over the years, the pain would come back, and Joanna had to find ways to deal with it. She was busy with her career, her family, and all of her many projects. But as the years went by, the pain in her back continued to be a problem. Then, in 2022, more than 20 years after her first surgery, Joanna found herself facing the same problem again. The pain had returned, and this time, she needed another surgery. Joanna's second microdiscectomy came at a very busy time in her life. It was December, and the holiday season was in full swing. The holiday season is usually a very busy time for everyone, but for Joanna, it was even more hectic. As a mother of 5 children and a businesswoman with many responsibilities, Joanna had a lot on her plate. On top of taking care of her family, she was also involved in running the Magnolia brand, which includes a variety of businesses, such as a home goods store, a restaurant, and even a magazine. Despite the busy time of year, Joanna knew that she needed to take care of her health. The pain in her back had become too much to handle, and the surgery was necessary. So, Joanna made the decision to go through with the procedure, even though it meant slowing down during one of the busiest times of the year. In December 2022, she had her second microdiscectomy, and just like before, the surgery was meant to remove the part of her spine that was causing the pain. After the surgery, Joanna took some time to rest and recover. Recovery from a surgery like this can take some time, and it is important for people to give their bodies the chance to heal properly. For Joanna, this time of recovery was not just about healing her body, but also about taking a break from the fast-paced life she had been living. In many ways, the surgery forced her to slow down and focus on her health, something she had not always done in the past. Joanna shared her recovery journey with her fans on social media. She posted a picture of herself in a hospital bed, wearing sunglasses and flashing a peace sign. Even though she was in the hospital and recovering from surgery, Joanna's positive attitude shone through. She explained to her followers that the surgery was necessary because of the injury she had suffered many years ago, and she thanked them for their support and well wishes. In her post, Joanna also talked about how the surgery gave her a chance to slow down and reflect on her life. She mentioned how busy the holiday season usually is for her and her family, with all the hustle and bustle that comes with running a business and taking care of her children. But because of the surgery, Joanna had to take a step back from all of that and focus on her recovery. In a way, she saw this as a blessing in disguise. It gave her the opportunity to rest, recharge, and think about what really mattered in her life. Joanna's openness about her surgery and recovery resonated with many people. Fans and followers from all over the world sent her messages of support and shared their own stories of dealing with health challenges. Joanna's willingness to share her struggles helped to create a sense of community among her followers. Many people could relate to the idea of having to slow down and take care of their health, even when life gets busy. Through her recovery, Joanna also reminded people about the importance of self-care. In today's world, it is easy to get caught up in the demands of work, family, and other responsibilities. Joanna's surgery also showed the physical challenges that can come with long-term health problems. Even though she is a successful businesswoman and a public figure, Joanna is also human. She has had to deal with pain and health issues just like anyone else. Her experience showed that no matter how successful someone may appear on the outside, they may still be dealing with struggles behind the scenes. In the weeks following her surgery, Joanna's fans continued to send her messages of support. Many people thanked her for being so open about her struggles and for reminding them that it is okay to take a break when needed. Joanna's honesty about her surgery and recovery helped to strengthen the bond she shares with her followers, showing that even in difficult times, it is possible to stay positive and find strength in community. But her back-related health issue isn't the only serious condition that has landed Joanna in the hospital. She had previously had pregnancy complications that many were scared would be dangerous to her health. But what exactly was this pregnant complication? Let's get into it. Joanna's difficult pregnancy struggles. Back in 2018, Joanna shared some very exciting news with the world. She and her husband, Chip Gaines, were expecting their 5th child. This was a joyful announcement that many people celebrated. Fans of Joanna and Chip, who had followed their journey on their show Fixer Upper and their various businesses, were thrilled to hear that they were growing their family. The news came as a happy surprise because Joanna and Chip already had 4 children, and it had been a few years since their youngest child was born. The Gaines family was about to welcome another little one into their lives, and everyone was excited for them. Joanna shared the news of her pregnancy on social media. In the post, she included an ultrasound image of the baby, which is something many expecting parents do to share the first picture of their little one with friends and family. The ultrasound image shows the baby growing inside the mother's womb, and it is a special moment for many parents. Joanna's fans were quick to congratulate her and Chip, flooding their social media with messages of love and support. It seemed like everything was going perfectly, but in all the excitement and celebration, some fans noticed something unusual in the ultrasound image that Joanna had posted. A few very observant followers pointed out that there seemed to be an excess of fluid around the baby in the ultrasound picture. This observation led some people to raise concerns about the health of the baby. In particular, some fans began to worry that the excess fluid could be a sign of a condition known as hydrops fetalis. Hydrops fetalis is a serious medical condition that occurs when there is an abnormal amount of fluid buildup in two or more areas of a fetus's body. This condition can cause a lot of complications, and in some cases, it can be life-threatening. The excess fluid can build up around the baby's organs, such as the heart, lungs, or skin, and it can make it difficult for the baby to survive. As more and more people began to speculate about the possibility of hydrops fetalis, the conversation around Joanna's pregnancy shifted from celebration to concern. Fans were anxious and wanted to know more about what was going on. Some of them expressed their fears on social media, asking Joanna and Chip for updates and sending their thoughts and prayers for the health of the It was clear that people cared deeply about the Gaines family and wanted to support them during this time. In response to the growing concern, a doctor named Nicole Safier, who is a radiologist at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, stepped in to offer some clarity. Dr. Safier explained that while there did appear to be some excess fluid in the ultrasound image, it did not necessarily mean that the baby had hydrops fetalis. She emphasized that ultrasounds can sometimes show things that look concerning, but are not always a sign of a serious problem. According to Dr. Safier, it was important not to jump to conclusions based solely on the ultrasound image. She reassured fans that while it was good to be cautious, it was also important to remember that not every unusual finding leads to a critical diagnosis. Dr. Safier's explanation helped to calm some of the fears surrounding Joanna's pregnancy. There's something in the air that makes them want to do something. While the concerns about hydrops fetalis were not completely dismissed, her words provided some hope that things might not be as serious as they seemed. Joanna and Chip did not immediately comment on the concerns, but they continued to move forward with their pregnancy, holding on to hope and trusting in their medical team, and breathe a whole lot better. Throughout the pregnancy, Joanna continued to share updates with her fans. She remained positive and focused on her family, even as the world watched closely for any signs of trouble. Joanna and Chip were no strangers to being in this was a very personal and sensitive time for them. Despite the challenges and concerns, they tried to keep a hopeful outlook, trusting that their baby would be born healthy. The timing of the pregnancy also came during a period of significant change for the Gaines family. Just a few months earlier, in October 2017, Joanna and Chip had announced that they were ending their popular television show Fixer Upper. After 5 successful seasons, they made the difficult decision to step away from the show in order to focus on their family and personal life. They wanted to spend more time with their 4 children, Drake, Ella, Duke, and Emmy K, and prepare for the arrival of their 5th child. The decision to leave the show was not easy, but Joanna and Chip felt it was the right choice for their family. As the months passed, Joanna's pregnancy progressed, and fans continued to follow her journey. Everyone was eagerly awaiting the arrival of the new baby, and despite the initial concerns about the ultrasound, there were no major updates to suggest that the pregnancy was in serious trouble. Joanna and Chip remained hopeful, and their fans continued to offer their support and well wishes. Then, in June 2018, the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. Joanna and Chip's 5th child, a baby boy named Crew Gaines, was born. The news of Crew's birth was met with joy and relief. Despite all the concerns and fears that had been raised earlier in the pregnancy, Crew was born healthy and strong. The Gaines family was overjoyed, and they shared their happiness with their fans. Joanna took to social media once again to announce the birth of Crew, and to thank everyone for their love and support during the pregnancy. She shared photos of the newborn baby, and expressed her gratitude for the safe arrival of her 5th child. The family's fans were thrilled to see the happy news and to know that the baby was healthy. After Cru's birth, Joanna continued to keep her fans updated on his progress. She frequently posted pictures and updates about Cru's milestones, celebrating each new moment with her growing family. Cru quickly became a beloved member of the Gaines family, and fans loved seeing him grow up alongside his older siblings. Despite the early concerns about his health, Cru thrived, and the Gaines family felt blessed to have him in their lives. As a result of these complicated health challenges, Chip and Joanna Gaines made a very big decision. They realized that they needed to slow down their public life and focus more on their family. For many years, they had been in the spotlight, working hard on their television show, Fixer Upper, and building their business, Magnolia. While they loved their work and were grateful for the success they had achieved, they also knew that it was time to step back and think about what mattered most. Chip and Joanna both realized that their health was something they could not take for granted. They had been working at a very fast pace for a long time, juggling multiple responsibilities at once. While they loved being busy and productive, they also knew that this lifestyle was not sustainable in the long run. They wanted to make sure they were healthy, not just for themselves, but also for their children. One of the biggest reasons they decided to shift their focus toward family and wellness was their 5 children. Chip and Joanna are parents to Drake, Ella, Duke, MEK, and Cru. As their children grew older, Chip and Joanna Gaines began to feel a deeper tug at their hearts, a realization that life was moving faster than they had expected. The early years of parenting had felt like a whirlwind, and their thriving careers had often swept them up and away from the simple, quiet moments of family life. As much as they were grateful for their success, they couldn't ignore the feeling that time was slipping through their fingers. They made a conscious decision. They needed to be more present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally for their children and each other. Drake, their eldest son, was quickly approaching adulthood. Watching him grow into a young man reminded them just how fleeting childhood was. Meanwhile, little Cru, their youngest, was still full of wonder, curiosity, and the innocence of youth. These contrasting stages of their children's lives brought an urgency to Chip and Joanna's hearts. They didn't want to be spectators in their children's stories. They wanted to be active participants. They wanted to be there for every school project, every scraped knee, every big question about life and identity. They wanted to guide their kids, to be the steady hand and the listening ear, and to model the values they held dear. But family wasn't the only focus. Chip and Joanna also had their sights set on something larger than themselves, the continued evolution of their Magnolia brand. Magnolia had grown into a cultural phenomenon, but to the Gaineses, it was never just about profits or popularity. For them, Magnolia represented a vision, a lifestyle rooted in authenticity, creativity, and connection. They saw it as a platform to spread beauty, kindness, and purpose, and they felt a responsibility to steward it well. They began to reevaluate everything: the projects they took on, the partnerships they pursued, and the messages they put out into the world. They were no longer interested in saying yes to every opportunity. Instead, they focused on quality over quantity, asking themselves, does this align with our values? Does this serve our community? Will this strengthen families and uplift lives? Their business became a mirror of their personal journey, deeply intentional and infused with heart. Part of that journey also included turning inward and prioritizing their own health. Over the years, both Chip and Joanna had encountered health scares that served as powerful wake-up calls. The fast pace, long hours, and constant travel had taken a toll. They realized that if they wanted to be around for their children and continue building their dream, they had to take better care of themselves. They started with small, intentional changes, nothing drastic, just meaningful shifts toward a healthier, more mindful life. They began meal prepping together, focusing on clean, whole foods that would nourish their bodies and fuel their busy days. They cut back on processed sugars and late-night takeout, choosing instead fresh vegetables from their garden, lean proteins, and hearty, wholesome grains. These weren't just diet choices, they were acts of self-care. Chip embraced early morning jogs around the property, breathing in the cool air before the world fully woke up. Joanna, in her quiet strength, found healing in yoga, stretching not just her muscles but also her soul. She took long, reflective walks on their land, letting nature ground her and give her perspective. They weren't trying to live perfectly, they were trying to live well. It wasn't about fitting into an image. It was about building a life that felt whole, peaceful, and sustainable. But for them, health didn't stop at the physical. Chip and Joanna made a deliberate effort to care for their emotional and mental well-being. 2. They talked more openly about the things that used to stay hidden: stress, fear, doubt, exhaustion. They learned that vulnerability wasn't weakness, it was strength. And in moments of real struggle, they weren't afraid to ask for help. Therapy, journaling, prayer, quiet time, these became tools, not just for coping, but for growing. They also reconnected deeply with their faith. Spiritual practices that once took a back seat in the chaos of deadlines and production schedules were brought forward again. Reading scripture, attending church as a family, and pausing to give thanks for the simplest of blessings. Faith became the anchor in their lives, reminding them of what truly matters and grounding them when life felt overwhelming. In the midst of it all, they found joy, not in grand vacations, glittering award shows, or the constant buzz of television ratings, but in the little things, in the sacred rhythm of family dinners, where laughter echoed louder than any applause, in lazy Sunday afternoons spent barefoot in the garden, planting flowers while the kids chased butterflies and the scent of fresh soil filled the air, in spontaneous dance-offs under warm kitchen lights, where Joanna twirled with a wooden spoon in hand, and Chip spun crew in circles until they collapsed in a fit of giggles. These moments, so simple, so ordinary, became the heartbeat of their home. They weren't just milestones. They were the quiet victories that reminded them of what truly mattered. They were no longer racing through life to keep up with the pace of fame. They were slowing down, breathing in, and savoring the beauty of a life well lived. And their fans noticed. As Chip and Joanna opened up about their personal transformation, the struggles, the healing, the health scares, and the rediscovery of joy, the response was overwhelming. It wasn't just admiration anymore, it was connection. People saw more than just a polished couple with design talent and television charm. They saw two real human beings choosing to live with authenticity, vulnerability, and purpose. They weren't trying to paint a perfect picture. They were peeling back the layers and revealing what's underneath. That real life is messy, unpredictable, and often painful. But it's also breathtakingly beautiful when we choose to be present, to prioritize love, and to live each day with intention. So, what do you think about the serious health challenges and lifestyle shifts that Joanna Gaines has faced and so bravely embraced? Has their story sparked something in you, maybe a desire to slow down, take a breath, and make more room for what really matters in your own life? We'd truly love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, your own experiences, or what this journey has meant to you in the comments below. Your story matters, too. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories from real lives lived with heart. Click the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss what comes next.